You ever watch a scene on reality TV so powerful it makes you stop breathing for a second, like you need to pause and process what just happened? That's exactly what fans experienced in Huntsville when Nell, with her signature no-nonsense attitude, locked eyes with Tisha and delivered words that sliced through the air like a blade. You have to take ownership. No screaming. No drink throwing. No wild chaos. Just sharp, cold honesty that shifted the energy of the entire room. In that single moment, the whole season took a turn. What looked like a simple clash transformed into a full-on power shift. For weeks, viewers had been sensing that something was brewing between Nell and Tisha. The signs were their passive-aggressive jabs, clipped responses, awkward silences, and those piercing looks across the room that said everything words couldn't. It was like watching a pot simmer on the stove, waiting for the lid to finally blow off. And when it did, it wasn't explosive in the way fans expected. Instead, it was the kind of truth-telling that cuts deeper than shouting ever could. The cameras captured every second, and everyone watching knew they had just witnessed something that would change everything. See, Nell had been biting her tongue for a long time. You could feel it building, that quiet frustration boiling under the surface. This wasn't about one little disagreement or a single moment of tension. This was years of resentment, brushed over problems, and swallowed feelings that finally refused to stay hidden. When Nell told Tisha to take accountability, it wasn't about one slip-up. It was about a pattern: every excuse, every time Tisha dodged responsibility, every moment she shifted blame. Nell laid it all out, and Tisha wasn't ready for it. Her body said everything her words couldn't. Tisha stood stiff, arms crossed tightly across her chest, lips pursed, eyes darting as she tried to form a defense. The words came out shaky, even she didn't seem to believe them. She looked cornered, desperate to disappear, but there was no escape. Not with Nell standing firm in front of her, not with cameras rolling, not with cast members watching silently from the sidelines. This wasn't just an argument between two women. This was a reckoning. And the ripples spread fast. Cast members started whispering, alliances shifted in real time, and suddenly everyone was faced with a choice: stand behind Nell, the one demanding accountability, or defend Tisha, the one exposed under the spotlight. Either way, the balance of the group had changed, and nothing would ever be the same again. But the real twist? That was only the beginning. While fans were still catching their breath from Nell and Tisha's confrontation, another storm was quietly forming. Rumors started to circulate about Tisha and Marsau, whispers that carried more weight than casual drama. This wasn't just side chatter, it was explosive. Behind the scenes, tension was building, and it was the kind of tension you can feel the second two people walk into a room together. The energy shifted whenever they were near each other. Forced smiles, awkward silences, conversations that abruptly ended when someone else entered. Everyone noticed it, even if no one dared to say it out loud. Social media only made it louder. Clips of Nell and Tisha's face-off spread like wildfire across TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Memes, reaction videos, breakdown threads, you couldn't scroll without seeing it. But in the comment sections, people weren't just dissecting Nell and Tisha's moment. They were already speculating about Tisha and Marsau. Fans could sense it, something big was brewing. And if Nell and Tisha rocked the boat, the tension between Tisha and Marsau had the potential to sink the whole ship. At first, the trouble didn't scream for attention. It crept in quietly, in the stiffness of their body language, the way their smiles looked rehearsed instead of natural. Longtime viewers knew the signs. Tisha's tone grew sharper. Marsau's usual light-hearted jokes suddenly fell flat. Their once playful banter now felt awkward, like two people trying to put on a show. And then there were the looks. Those silent exchanges that scream, "We're not okay," even when no words are spoken. Insiders later revealed that the cracks had been there long before filming started. There were private arguments, some loud, some quiet but equally painful, that never made it to the cameras. Sources close to production hinted that the relationship was already shaky when filming began. But once the spotlight hit, the pressure pushed everything closer to the edge. Marsau, normally confident and unshakable, seemed rattled. Friends noticed he was short-tempered, distant, distracted. Letitia, on the other hand, looked drained, like she was carrying the weight of holding everything together. That exhaustion was written all over her face. Then the whispers escalated into rumors too big to ignore. Talk of a possible physical altercation spread through fan pages and comment threads. No solid proof, no footage, just a storm of "did you hear?" And someone said. And in today's internet world, that's more than enough to send fans into full detective mode. People slowed down episodes frame by frame, studying facial expressions, comparing side-by-side clips, analyzing every look and every word. It was chaos, but it was the kind of chaos reality TV thrives on. Love and marriage, Huntsville had stopped being just a show. It became an entire ecosystem. Fans weren't just viewers anymore, they were participants, posting theories, debating sides, defending their favorites with the passion of family feuds. And the Letitia Marsau situation? It set that world on fire. Suddenly, everyone had a stance. Was Marsau the problem? Was Letitia overreacting? Was production hiding something from the audience? Producers, of course, knew exactly what was happening. They leaned right into it. Sources revealed that suddenly Letitia and Marsau were scheduled for more joint scenes. Conversations once filmed in private made it to the final cut. Old footage from weeks earlier magically appeared in the next episode, carefully edited to stir speculation. Strategic? Absolutely. Effective? Without question. The buzz grew louder and louder. Other cast members started feeling the heat too. Staying neutral was almost impossible. Subtle alliances formed who laughed at whose jokes, who stood where during group scenes, who stayed silent when certain topics came up. The tension didn't stay contained between Letitia and Marsau. It spread through the entire cast like wildfire, and the audience could see it. By this point, fans weren't watching just for love stories or business updates anymore. They were watching body language, tiny glances, muted sighs. Every teaser and every Instagram post added fuel to the fire. Anticipation built with every passing week. Everyone knew something big was coming. That breaking point arrived on set one day. Letitia stood on the edge of the stage, arms folded tight, her expression icy and controlled. Cameras weren't even rolling yet, but she was already bracing herself for battle. Then Marsau walked in, carrying his usual swagger, but his eyes betrayed him. They darted around nervously, as if he knew a storm was about to hit. The room went silent. Crew members stopped moving. Cast members pretended to scroll on their phones. Everyone sensed what was about to unfold. What followed wasn't a screaming match or physical chaos. It was something heavier. A breakdown, not a blow-up. Letitia's voice was calm but sharp, her words precise. She stared him down and said, "I don't know who you're pretending for anymore, me, them, or yourself." And Marsau? For once, he had nothing. No smirk, no witty comeback, just silence. And on reality TV, silence speaks volumes. It says more than yelling ever could. The argument that unfolded after wasn't loud, but it was brutal. Letitia unleashed years of bottled-up pain in clipped sentences. She accused him of being dismissive, of gaslighting her, of making her feel invisible unless cameras were around. Marsau fired back, accusing her of being cold, closed off, always playing the victim. But it wasn't about who threw the sharpest line. It was about who looked more tired of holding it all in. And by the end, both of them looked exhausted. Worn down by years of pretending. Tired of smiling through cracks that had long since widened into fractures. Backstage, the atmosphere was heavy. Producers huddled together. Cast members avoided eye contact. No one said it out loud, but the thought lingered in every mind, this wasn't just TV drama. This was real life unraveling in front of their eyes. The episode teased just enough of the fight to send fans into a frenzy. Snippets of harsh words, close-ups of stunned faces, dramatic music at the perfect moment. Within minutes, Twitter exploded. Hashtags trended. TikTok users recreated the scene before the episode even ended. Fan theories multiplied overnight. But something deeper was happening, too. Viewers weren't just reacting to the drama. They were connecting it to their own lives. The Tisha and Marsau showdown sparked real conversations about accountability, emotional labor, about what happens when couples outgrow the image they've built together. Comment sections turned into group therapy sessions. People admitted they'd been Tisha, quietly enduring until they finally spoke up. Others admitted they'd been Marsau, avoiding hard truths until it all collapsed. The storyline hit nerves because it wasn't just reality TV, it was reality. Producers, meanwhile, knew they had struck gold. Clips were promoted like blockbuster trailers. Cast interviews teased more behind-the-scenes fallout. Every teaser was calculated to keep fans hooked. And it worked. Ratings soared. Headlines rolled in. Love and marriage, Huntsville dominated timelines like never before. But what made the confrontation unforgettable wasn't just the drama. It was the honesty. The rawness. The sense that this wasn't just for cameras, this was two people at their breaking point, saying the things they had avoided for too long. And in that honesty, fans found pieces of themselves. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was heartbreak televised. Whether Tisha and Marsau rebuild or go their separate ways, one thing is clear: their confrontation carved itself into the history of the show. Not because it was loud, but because it was real. And for the fans, it wasn't just about picking sides anymore. It was about recognizing the masks people wear, the cracks that finally split open, and the courage it takes to finally speak the truth. When we look back at this season, one thing becomes clear: this wasn't just about Nell, Tisha, Tisha, or Marsau. It was about truth finally breaking through the surface. For years, these cast members have carried unspoken pain, hidden behind laughter, business deals, and picture-perfect smiles. But when the masks fell, we saw the raw reality. We saw friendships tested, marriages questioned, and the kind of honesty that cuts deep but also heals. And maybe that's why fans couldn't look away. Because it reminded all of us that behind the lights and cameras, they're just people struggling, hurting, trying to find their way. Some of us saw ourselves in Tisha's silence, in Nell's strength, in Marsau's deflections, or even in Tisha's discomfort. That's the power of moments like this. They make us reflect on our own lives. As the season moves forward, one thing is certain: the story isn't over. The fallout will keep coming, the alliances will keep shifting, and the truth will keep demanding space. But no matter what happens next, this confrontation will stand as one of the most unforgettable chapters in Huntsville history. Because sometimes, reality TV gives us more than drama. It gives us a mirror.